This is episode 3. Since, Nia got you started, Nia, you can tell us your story and what got you into it and, made you bold enough, brave enough to reach out to your mama, your sister, and all that. Because sometimes, like, when we try to reach out to our family about something new and different, they be like, oh, excuse me, and you the youngest, like, too.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I think I was already used to being that person that was looked at like I was crazy. I was always the eyeball. I was always the black sheep. So it's like, I'm fortunate and blessed to have been born to the family that I have been born into, because y'all still love me. It's not like just because I was different, y'all was just like, send her somewhere. It wasn't like that,
I might have a couple times I felt like you should. Just a couple times.
Drop her off, but I'm
energy though. So yeah, that's natural for a sister. But like, mom, like you always allow me to be myself. So I was always able to, really look at my gifts and look at who I am and really embrace who I am. I've been spiritual my whole life. Like, I put the religion to what I already knew when I was born, because that was what I was being taught. But I always had a connection with a higher power, with spirit, with my ancestors. And I was born with knowledge of my prior life. So, I didn't understand that was my prior life. I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, who is this girl I keep dreaming about? Like, I would have the same dream and it would be reoccurring, or it would kind of, it would keep going from where it was last time. And I was young, like really young. I can't even tell you how old I was because it was forever ago.
It makes so much sense. It makes sense because of your age. You're supposed to be, you're that child. Let's see, what are you, a crystal child, rainbow child? Which one are you, indigo?
Well, I've got a lot of different names. Flower child, star baby.
It makes sense. You're that younger generation that is more connected, that comes for that reason. And like, wow, just to hear that is like, wow, like, yeah, you're like a living example of that.
Yeah, definitely. But it's still, even with the religion, it still made you make yourself small. So it made you kind of delete that part of yourself. So like now as an adult, as an adult, now I have to get back to that. Now I have to relearn the knowledge and the connections that I had that I was born with. So it's, and my experience with actually coming back into my spirituality came through trauma. So, but it was still like I was always being guided at the same time, because I started doing yoga before I ever experienced that trauma. So it was like I was given the gifts that I was going to need to heal myself before even experiencing the trauma. So I feel like I've always been guided, and I've always been this go-getter, this ambitious person, this, somebody that other people just really didn't understand. And I've always like, man, why am I always the youngest person? Like I'm always the baby in every room, but I still always come and I give so much knowledge. And I don't even really feel like it's my knowledge. I feel like I just am able to channel the knowledge that I need. I always know what I need to know. And, it kind of, even like through school and stuff, I didn't study. I didn't do any of that because I was still making good grades without doing it, So even looking back at that, before I even knew that I was channeling knowledge, I thought I was just a good guesser. Like, I'm like, oh, it's multiple choice. I ain't studying nothing, But I was just able to channel what I needed to know. So now, it's always a journey. It is always a journey. And especially in this place that I am now, I'm in a place of like uncertainty. I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going. I just know that everything is not for me. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't see myself being somewhere where I'm unfulfilled. So if I can't really come into a space and be myself and find fulfillment in what I'm doing, I can't do something just for the money. It doesn't work for me. And I have to always assess my mental health, because when I'm not doing things that really make me happy, my mental health declines rapidly. So I really have to make sure that I love what I'm doing, where I am. And I'm fortunate and I'm glad that I've been given tools with my yoga, with my sound healing, even my voice. And I've been given the power of manifestation. I am a master manifester. Anything that I say that I want or that I'm going to get, I get.
That's right.
And
you gotta watch what you ask for sometimes. It's like, wait a minute, why is this? It's like, you did ask for that. It's like, oh, that's not really what I meant.
Yes. And even
that's what I'm trying to understand.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to understand how to manifest stuff and,
mm-hmm.
and things like that. I'm trying to learn.
It's on the way.
Yeah, it's definitely on the way. And I would say that it's mainly just speaking and believing. And then you gotta also look at your chart.
I was gonna say no. No, we all say at the same time. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely, yeah.
I just find it interesting what you said about would you say knowing your when you were younger you knew about your past life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something, that's interesting. I've never, seen or felt that, but I just find it interesting how you know.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I just really started to know. So I just finished a 200-hour YTT, a yoga teacher training with my guru. She's from India. So she practices Hinduism, which is really a way of life, and it's not a religion. So you can be any type of person. You can come in and believe whatever you want to believe, and you can still come worship in these same temples as everybody else. It's a very non-judgmental. It's the term that she used, she said, they look at it as 33 million ways to get to God. It's not just one way. Everybody's way is correct because everybody is different. So everybody has their own path. Right. But when you look at, like, we watch documentaries and stuff, and there were a lot of people who they knew who they were in their past life. And you look at these experiences of people who died traumatic deaths, and they wake up in their new life and they have a big birthmark. Like, say they were stabbed right here. They'll have a big birthmark wherever it was that, caused their death in the previous life. And then they'll come back and they'll find the family that they belonged to in their previous life and be able to share those stories. And the other family is like, oh, you are my child. Even though now you are born into this new family, that is still your family too, but we're your family. And they know how to just embrace that, not be like, that's my kid, you need to back off, Right. They embrace that. Yeah. So it's just, I've been learning so much. And when we really look at different cultures and the people who have not been separated from their roots and what they know, what they still know, like, that's how we really are going to be able to come into our awakening, is going back to those people who were not cut off from their ancestors, cut off from their stories, the stories that are passed down orally. You can't find everything online. Like, a lot of cultures, the things that are held sacred are never going to be online. You have to have a guru or somebody who's going to teach you those things and show you those ways.
And once you start to connect, you realize that everything that's not written, that's not even passed down, is in your DNA. That's why, once certain things start happening, you start changing, you start, evolving and becoming this different person because things unlock. How like people say, don't stress out because you might get sick. Why do they say that? Because we have a lot of sickness already in us and it's dormant. And if you stress, you be like, oh, you might pop something open and then next thing you know, you got this. So it's like the same way with knowledge. You know, back in the day in the temples, everything wasn't always written down. You know, some stuff was spoken, some stuff is just in there. You know, that's why when we get sun, the sun penetrates and it does stuff. That's why we eat certain foods, it does stuff, you know, but it makes sense because I guess we knew far and in between, we weren't going to have a lot of people who were, I guess, like original, who were still connected, especially here in the States. Nobody's connected. You got to go somewhere else, you know, where the bush people are still even walking in the regular cities and be like, okay. And then we needed to sit at our grandmama knee, our granddaddy knee, or whatever. And then in religion, like Jehovah's Witnesses, if your grandma and granddaddy wasn't like in there, you weren't like encouraged to go talk to them. So look at what we missed out on.
Right.
We missed out on like just
we missed out on a lot.
Even if they were in it and you went to talk to them, they only told you about Jehovah's Witness background. They weren't telling you about the worldly family history. So
right.
It was a little
you get to know about what your grandmama did. Some of us don't even know our great grandmama first and middle and last name. I mean, it's like so much.
Right. That is true.
Missed, you know. But yeah, so this is.
So I would like to just kind of talk about the fact that we have 4 goddesses here, and I really love to tap into the goddesses that have been forgotten. You know, a lot of times we don't highlight the fact that before colonization, it was a matriarchal society, but the matriarchal society was equal. It wasn't even like the women were in rule of the men. We never wanted that. We always wanted to be an equal, cohesive, you know, playground. We wanted to work. And really, once we get back to that goddess energy and we realize our, you know, the divineness of us, and we get back to our womb circles, our sacred, you know, our sacred circles with all women, like this, this is powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I got the chills. I know. Whoa.
Yes.
Like, yeah, whoa. Yeah. And it's just amazing to hear you saying that, because everything y'all have said so far, I have heard it. So it's 100. Y'all are like on point, because how are y'all saying the exact same thing that my spiritual girlfriend said earlier? Spiritual guy I talked to yesterday said. I mean, like, you know, 100. We're in the right place. We're on the right path.
Right.
Like 100.
Yeah.
Rising to the top, we are.